Hey, me, Callie Carroll. Good morning, sunshine.
Morning, sunshine.
Good morning, sunshine.
Oh, good morning, sunshines. Daily dose of perspective.
Good morning, sweet baby sunshines.
Good morning, sunshines. Let's get started.
Good morning, sunshines. I know. What are you doing by yourself, Callie? Are you okay? Where's Megs? What's happening in your world? It's going to be all right. Our normal live video will go up tomorrow. So this is not even a live video, by the way, tomorrow. Right now is live. Like I'm sitting here, hi, right now reading your comments. And I have old comments on here, so I have no idea what's going on with StreamYard. That's cool too. But I should be able to hopefully read or see when you're here because it does look like I am, in fact, live on my stuff. Oh, Yep, that just happened. Sorry about that. And I wanted to pop on here because I have been doing multiple appointments with Whitten John, and then you loving, freaking amazing humans, Whitten John fans, supporters, have been shooting me messages like, what's going on? How's he doing? You keep talking about go to the doctors, all of those different things. I swear I have an eyebrow, but this light just makes me feel like I don't have an eyebrow. You think that's important to tell you? Yeah, I guess it is, because I just did. So I just wanted to do that, and I'll do a quick checkup, catch up first, because there's a lot of new people here that are like, what is she talking about? So my youngest son of 4 kids, Whitten John, was diagnosed with a rare cancer and another disease because he had a tumor in his pituitary. And that's pretty much a lot of what I'm going to talk about today. So the cancer or blood disease is called LCH, Langerhans cell histiocytosis, and it's of this histiocytosis conglomerate of illnesses and very rare illnesses, which, by the way, I think I'm going to join maybe a board about and start doing some things to raise like some funds and support for finding cures for these, because these are 2 incurable diseases that he has. Now, his first tumor the tumor that identified the disease for us was in his pituitary, which is like this little pea-like thing right behind your forehead. And this just is driving me crazy. That's okay. And you have a back of your pituitary and the front of your pituitary, and they do a lot of really important things for regulating the hormones and the functions in your body, from your cortisol to your testosterone to your thyroid functioning to your ADH, which controls your body's water levels and your urine output, and your oxytocin. I'm missing your growth hormone. So this one little pea-sized structure supports your body. Isn't that crazy? Like, you have this little pea-sized structure behind your eyeballs that supports your whole body in operating. I think that's really freaking cool. So anyways, we see the endocrinologist every 6 months and the oncologist every 6 months. We just had our both appointments, and the first oncology appointment, we do all the blood work that will support them looking his cancer and whether or not that's coming back, if we can try to identify anything and just get eyes on him. And then a couple weeks later, we go to endocrinology to identify the disease is called arginine vasopressin deficiency, diabetes insipidus. Hold on. Hey, there we go. And that's where we see the endocrinologist for all the pituitary stuff. So first of all, oncology appointment went awesome. Aside from him hating to get poked, because who wants to have their blood drawn, and he's just going to have to get used to that. Like, right. I'm like, dude, we all get pokes. We all get shots. We all have different things. We all have to give our blood and make sure that we're healthy. So we're going to have to do that twice a year. And he did a pretty good job this time. I think it will get maybe a little better each time, as he realizes it's not that painful, but his blood work looked great. And what's really cool is there's this thing called BRAF, BRAF, that a lot of kids with LCH have, and elevated states of that. There's this new test they didn't used to do. So they're just now starting to test his BRAF in his blood. It's a full different blood work test. We had to wait for this different tools to be brought out so that they could get this done correctly. And it was negative. And if it's elevated, they're kind of just starting the testing now to see if it's elevated, is that affecting or is there a commonality with the disease coming back, the cancer coming back? So his was not there, and that's incredible news. Not that we really know much more than that for the cancer specifically. What we need to do is watch for limping, breaking bones, rashes, because that's how it would present if it comes back. So we're just on watch And I've shared this before. If you get the first string of chemotherapy, the current statistics or the most recent statistics I've seen, it's about a 50% recurrence rate. But he had third string chemo because he had to go all the way to the super aggressive, which is why he had the 58 treatments and we were doing them for so long and he was barfing for so many years and all the things. But that is only like a 15% reoccurrence rate, which is great, cool, like really, really amazing stats for us to be able to focus on. Okay, so that appointment was wonderful. And then we went over to endocrinology. And this is the appointment that I'm just like, whatever. Like, I feel rather unsupported when it comes to his AVP deficiency because it is so rare. And it's just, even if it's like becoming more, I don't know if like more people are finally getting diagnoses because we're talking about it, because there's more acknowledgement of what the disease is, because it does go very underdiagnosed. But it's like, even if the doctors know what it is, they don't actually understand in any of and most people in my group experience, they don't really understand the disease, what it feels like, what to do, how to medicate. So that's the most challenging part of what we're going through right now, which we'll get more to all of the actual Whitten things. So in our beginning of our conversation, what we do is we first talk about the backside of his pituitary is definitely dark, which means there's no AVP ADH production, which means his body doesn't stop peeing. And I just want to explain this for a second because it's important for me to start advocating about this more, even though you're like, how much are you going to talk about pee count? Well, maybe a lot is how much I'm going to talk about it, because a lot of parents are like, my kid pees, it seems excessively. Is he okay? Are things okay? Could he have this as well? And as I share and advocate more and more, I've been a part of a lot of people getting their child diagnosed. And then once you're diagnosed, you can get the medication so you can start to live a more normal life. But you can imagine if you had to pee twice every single hour, how that would inhibit your sports, your school, your work, your home life, your sleep. Like it doesn't allow you to function. So in the ADH production, your pituitary produces this hormone that tells your body to stop urinating so that you hold the water in your kidneys. And then when the water's there, your body utilizes it. And we all know that your body needs water. It's over 60% water or whatever. So as your whole body is functioning, it has to have water. But if that storage never stops, it's like you're just like this leaky sieve, right? Like you're supposed to have this reservoir, this beautiful lake of water that you can utilize, and it feeds your soul and your body and your brain and your heart and your lungs and your organs and your muscles. And instead, it's just nonstop draining out. Then what happens is your body starts to become like severely sick, which is what happened to Whitten in the beginning of his diagnoses, is that he wasn't able to even get in as much as was going out. So now you consistently feel so dehydrated to the point of like wanting to vomit. You feel like super sick. When you do drink, you drink so fast that you're waterlogging yourself and you're throwing it all up. So undiagnosed, it's extremely dangerous. The other thing about undiagnosed AVP deficiency or diabetes insipidus is that it highly affects your sodium. So when this process is happening where the reservoir is coming in, and then when your ADH production goes down in your natural body, then you pee. And like a normal person just has like a little reservoir, and they just continuously have this slow ADH introduction where it's like, okay, I hold some water and I use it, and then I pee, and I hold some water and I use it, and I pee. And the average person pees maybe every 3 to 4 hours. And that's proper function, right? These people with AVP deficiency, that doesn't happen for them. So as their body is just continuously flushing the water through, you can think about the nutrient deficiency, because everything's just moving through. All of his blood work when we were trying to get diagnosed always came back correct, like good, clear, because there was nothing to test, because everything was so like clean or run through in a system, and not in a good way. You should be nutrient dense. Like they make jokes about how you could clean floors with the pee from somebody in Breakthrough, because it's just water. Like it's like almost sterile water, and like no smell, it's just white liquid that's coming out of their bodies. That's not good. You should have some sort of nutrients that are fueling your body as you're processing your foods, that things are coming out. So with the sodium piece of it, there's at risk for high sodium and low sodium, depending on if you're under medicated or over medicated and how much water's in your body. And either one of those are very high risk. Maybe some of you guys know people who have been hospitalized for sodium situations, but when your sodium drops under 132, especially under 130, then they're going to want to be monitoring you, trying to do things to increase the sodium in your body so that you don't start having seizures and you're at risk for even further potential severe damage to your body. So when Whitten, he's now diagnosed and we have medication, obviously. So we take this stuff called desmopressin, and it's a fake ADH. It's the vasopressin, the same hormone, right? So he takes that, but it's not like he can just take trinkets as his body needs it. He takes it a couple times a day. And unfortunately, the way the endocrinology supports you with this is they're like, okay, so like, let's try to get him to his normal dosage, where he's going to take, a pill in the morning and a half a pill at night. And it's just not how the body operates, because your metabolism changes consistently. Your ADH needs and output changes consistently. So it's like this. And by the way, the connection between diabetes insipidus and diabetes mellitus, because these are both diabetes diseases. Diabetes mellitus, most of you probably know about. That's sugar diabetes. And that's where it's like insulin involvement, right? So if your blood sugar, it's about your blood sugar. So they call it sugar diabetes. If your blood sugar level goes high or low, your body needs something. If it's low, it needs more sugar. If it's high, you need insulin to manage that and bring it down. And it's so cool because science has evolved so much. I think it's 1 in 10 people that have diabetes now, that there's tools, there's systems to measure your blood sugar level at home, to be able to either have that finger prick or even a pump that's going to automatically put the insulin in your system, and automatically, a Dexcom, I think is what it's called, where it's automatically going to measure what your sugar levels are continuously throughout the day to keep these people with sugar diabetes safe. And that's so amazing. But water diabetes, or diabetes insipidus, or AVP deficiency, they changed the name because people get really confused. Like, Whitten's been in the hospital before and they're like, we got to make sure we check his sugar levels, his glucose. And it's like, no, you don't. He's not diabetes mellitus, he's diabetes insipidus. So it's confusing. That's why they changed the name a year ago. But like, even the doctors, one of the assistants at the hospital still didn't know at Children's yesterday that the name had changed, because it's going to take a while. So anyways, so with that, you look at like the ability for sugar diabetes to be controlled. Now, diabetes mellitus is 1 in 20,000 people. And that means that there's not a lot of money to fund it. There's not a lot of researchers studying it. There's not a lot of, force that's going into this incurable disease that's making these 1 in 20,000 people, their lives are very uncomfortable and challenging because they're trying to manage their sodium and their water intake and output. And it's uncomfortable every single day. And that's what they live with for the duration of their lives. And most of my education that I've gotten about this disease is through our group. Got diabetes insipidus, or AVP deficiency. And it's so cool to be connected with this group of humans who either have a family member or think that they might have the disease, or have children with the disease, or have it themselves and have had it for 40 years, how they manage it, how it feels in their body, there's all these hilarious memes, but they're not actually funny at all, because this is their real life, where they have you open up the fridge and there's just those 5-gallon water jugs filling up the entire fridge because they just drink so much, or like the memes about needing excess ice because everything's got to be ice cold in order to satisfy that back of the throat palate. That's not even a thing, but there's just so much that goes into it. And I get to watch and learn from these other humans and admins, and it supports me in figuring out how to support Whitten. But when we're at the endocrinologist, it's like they open up a book and they're like, okay, so for diabetes insipidus, what we need to do is you're going to try to take this many pills in the morning and this many pills at night. So I go in and I like to advocate now, and I like to share, and I am all for movement in our medical world around these diseases. And if they don't know, or they're not willing to listen, how are we going to make a change, right? So I ask the questions. I'm like, here's the deal. I know that I'm keeping my son safe. I know that we've figured out how to make sure that he has breakthrough each day. So what that means is if I always had him on the medication, so if I just kept giving him the vasopressin or the desmopressin, and he had that hormone in his body, he would never be able to fully pee, which is also not good. Can you imagine if all that like stored up highly dense nutrient stuff is in your kidney and you're never getting it out? That's not good for your kidneys. It's not good for your body. And also that can result in high sodium. So then now we're back to seizures and potential like a risk of severe trauma to the body. So you have to have what's called a breakthrough every single day. So what I'm watching for as I'm his sole caretaker, and still it's a full-time freaking job, you guys, is I'm watching for when his pee goes, like he goes throughout the normal day, kind of like being like a normal kid. Like maybe he'll pee every few hours and he'll drink when he needs to drink. And that's awesome. When he starts needing cold water, he's like, Mom, I need my cold water. I need ice cold water. There's not ice in it. I need ice. And it's like, I need it now. And then it's like, I got to go to the bathroom. I got to go to the bathroom. So we start to watch for his pee to go from like a yellow to a light yellow to a clear. And then we know that he's in breakthrough. So now he's not medicated. And he's like that reservoir, just the pee's just going through his body again. But we can't let him stay there too long because it's uncomfortable and it's unhealthy to stay in that state for a long period of time. So we wait for that to occur. And then we have to decide how much to medicate him depending on when that next breakthrough is going to come. And you can have like 1 to 2 breakthroughs a day. So we're trying to figure out when these are going to happen for him. And unfortunately, his little body just has a lot going on. The first thing is that we live in Denver, Colorado, which is a mile high. And I am absolutely convinced, even though you can't get the endocrinologist here to talk to you about any of it, or to like, they'll say, yeah, there's something, but we really don't know what it is. But altitude affects your, number one, your ADH production. Go to the Children's Museum. There's actually an exhibit in the like life exhibit or whatever, where it shows a thing of urine at when this lady's hiking and how her urine becomes less and less because her ADH production changes as she raises in elevation, just on a simple hike. Then you put us at 5,200 above elevation versus all these people who are living at 300 or 0 elevation. And his medication just works differently. And the reason and the way that I found that out is the first trip that we ever took to Hawaii, which was unbelievable. And I still feel so grateful for my husband's work for that opportunity that we had. But we got there, and for the first time, you guys, he slept through the night. Our normal nighttime routine, this is just fun to share, is I make up 4 different chocolates, which is actually a protein shake, which is great because the kid still doesn't eat. And his endocrinologist says that probably won't change until his late teens. Like their taste buds are so jacked from that metal taste from their chemo. So she's like, just expect that to happen until he's 18. But thank goodness he has these chocolates, which is a vitamin D whole milk and 2 scoops of Herbalife orange Formula 1. And it's got to be the orange Herbalife. I've tried other flavors, or like the Medicaid has some different like protein shakes you can try. Absolutely not. Like this is his gig. So I whip up 4 of these every single night. I get a huge bottle of ice water. Then we have a fridge in our room. We put the bottles in our room so that he's got access immediately. And then he's got his water right there. And some nights, you guys, he'll only wake up one time and he'll have his 8-ounce chocolate. He'll go pee. He'll come back. That's a great night for us. Usually it's more like 2 or 3 times. Like last night, I'm really trying to get him to minimize his chocolate consumption at night, per the doctor's suggestion. And I think it's a great idea. But so we're looking at having like less of those. But as we're doing this, I think he had 2 last night, plus a little bit of water, and he peed 1 or 2 times. So that's an average night for us. So do we sleep? No, we haven't slept through the night since we've been at sea level, which takes me back to the whole altitude piece. So when we went to Hawaii, he actually slept through the night. And it didn't feel like sleeping through the night at first because we woke up at 3 a.m. because of the time change, but then like we kept sleeping a little bit later and a little bit later. And I'm like, dude, this, like, he's not drinking his chocolates at night. He's not drinking water at night. He's sleeping through the whole night. This is amazing. And then we've had 3 other trips to sea level since then. And it's the same thing. It's where he is, buddy, I'm doing a live video. You can come say hi, but I can't press the stop button. Okay. There's Whitten John. I'm actually talking about you right now. You want to say good morning to these guys? Say right there. Say morning.
Morning.
Say morning, sunshine.
Morning, sunshine.
Do you want to share anything about your desmopressin or your medication that you take? You feel healthy today?
Yeah.
You do? Did you eat some food at grandma's?
Yeah.
Good job, buddy. I'm going to keep chatting. You can watch me chat, or you can go down and do your puzzle if you want. So at every single one of those occasions, I noticed that he actually sleeps through the night, which is It's amazing. It's incredible. And for those of you who have any sort of insomnia or situation or medically challenged child where you don't get to, even if you get to sleep, you never go to bed knowing that you're going to sleep, which is just different. Like every night you go to bed wondering like, will I get to sleep tonight? And that's hard on a body system, on our stress levels, our healing at night for both him and all of us that aren't sleeping. So, that's one of the first things that I was talking to him about was the elevation of how that changes his dosing. And then I was sharing with her, I'm like, so then we have the times where he's sick. And what's interesting, if he has any sort of illness, like a little like sinus infection or tummy infection, Whitten, will you shut that door for me? Just because then we can't hear daddy as much. Then he doesn't need his medication almost at all. And so when we go down to sea level, I'll also use about half the amount, even though like he'll sleep through the night and I need much less medication. And then when he's sick, I guess your other organs will consequently produce ADH, that hormone, like from your other organs as it's trying to combat the disease because it wants to make sure that your body doesn't get dehydrated during whatever illness you have going on. So that in my brain, I'm like, there is a solution to this disease. There's something out there where your other organs are able to produce this hormone where there's got to be something in the future. There's got to be some sort of cure in the future, which is why I keep pressing to ask them these questions. Like, have you noticed that? Have you observed that? And it's always just like, maybe. So there's never really any answers when it comes to working with his diabetes insipidus. So long story long, and that was just a lot of me advocating and really informing people to help people understand more about what it's like. Like you're probably a little bit familiar. Okay. Can you ask your daddy for help? Okay. Cause I'll be done in a couple minutes. So the advocating piece, like letting people know that there's a lot of people who they are underdiagnosed. Like their kid is urinating more than every 2 hours. And like Whitten was drinking 2 gallons a day. So there's kids that are having these issues that it would be so supportive if they knew to at least see and see if they can test for that, or if that might be a possibility so that they could get the support they need. The other piece is like, as I'm walking this journey with Whitten and I'm his person, I'm his caretaker. He is going to have a lot of different things that he has to work through, which means I get to work through with him as well. And one of those is, how is he going to go to school? And this is really like, I think where we're at right now. If I'm going to give a Whitten update, it's that he has this severe separation anxiety where I have been his person. The only thing he's known since he was 2 was that mom was by his side. Was the one advocating for his water and his medication. I was the one that was there during every chemo. If he barfed, I was there cleaning it up. So I am his safety person. I am his safety net. And kids at this age, until they're like 7 is what our doctor said, is they need to feel like they have a safe environment. And that for him is me. And that's amazing that I can be that for him, but also it's not super healthy in the long run, right? Like I need some space. I need some time. I need some mental clarity and mental peace. And he needs to feel like he can be supported and safe in other environments. So for the last 1.5 years, we've been working on going to the gym where he gets to have this tiny separation. And I have been extremely patient in, some people drop their kid off the gym and they're screaming and like, I'm just going to run. And the kid calms down a couple minutes later and it's great. And I did that with my big kids. It worked, right? That's not the same in this situation. So if he doesn't feel completely safe, then it's going to backfire on us. So what I've been doing is like incrementally bringing him to the gym. And then I'll sit there, like I said, first I sat right next to him. Then I sat outside of a glass door. Then I would say, I have to go to the bathroom. I'd leave for 5 minutes. And then eventually I was like, I have to charge my phone. And then I could leave for about 40 minutes. So over the last 1.5 years, we've worked our way up to me leaving for maybe like 40 or 45 minutes. But there have been a couple moments where the people just don't understand when he says he needs water, or when he says, usually he's going to say he needs his mom, because he knows that I'm going to know how to get him either his water, his medication, or support going to the bathroom, because he's so young right now. He can't just say like, oh, I just need this. So when he says he needs me, It's not like a, he needs me, you can get me in 5 minutes. It's a, he needs this, and every second feels like 10 minutes to him. So if you wait a full minute, he starts to go into like some sort of like PTSD shock. So he'll start to emotionally break down. He's going to dysregulate. If his body needs something, then he's at risk of having seizures. So it's like trying to explain to someone that like when he needs this now. And I've done my best, but I just haven't done a great enough job, because just last week we had another moment where they're so great at Lifetime, you guys. They're amazing. And they've done so much to work with us. And there's just like this one tiny moment, right, where a new person's in and Whitten says, hey, I need my mom. And they don't get me. And then he tells somebody else, and there was like, you know, a dirty diaper and a bloody nose. And I have to be better at advocating to say like that, you know, a dirty diaper or a bloody nose or somebody barfing, or like unless somebody's about to have some sort of attack, that this is more important. Like it'd be like if you had somebody with diabetes mellitus and they're having a sugar low or a sugar high, you're not going to wait 5 minutes to call the parents to see what happens. You're gonna get the parents. Come sit right by me, buddy. You're gonna get the parents. Okay, you're gonna get the parent right away to get the medication that they need. And I have to be better, because this is all on me, about explaining that. But what that did for us is now we're back at square one. We're back at a year and a half ago, where he doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to go in the room. We have to be in a very, very specific spot. I can't get out of his sight again. And I'm kind of nervous too, because if they don't listen to his needs, then that's going to be extremely dangerous for him. And then it's like this conversation of, well, is that the gym people's responsibility? It's not. Like they might not take kids with diabetes. They might not take kids who have medical needs. You know, maybe that's just a thing, and that's okay too. That's the conversation I need to have. But then it's like, we're supposed to start school. We're supposed to start preschool. We go to his like orientation on Monday. I mean, I can't even imagine how he's going to show up. I pray that it's going to be great. But right now, not being able to, I mean, you guys can see, like, I can't be very far from him. If I have more than 15 minutes, like away from him at any juncture during the day, like, woo, we're winning. We are winning, and love him to death, but also we need our space, you know? So trying to figure out what school's going to look like next year. Is he actually going to go? Is he going to need to be homeschooled? Yes, baby. Yeah, your grandpa did die. Yeah. That's your great, great, great grandpa. He would have been like hundreds of years old right now.
Mom, did he die?
He did. He's in heaven.
Oh.
Yeah. He probably knows Auntie Grandma Vicky now. And Grandma Lee. Yeah. We talk a lot about death lately, because we've had a lot of deaths lately. So
What are these buttons?
it's to raise the desk up and down, but it's not plugged in. So we'll do it after I'm done. I'm almost done. So really trying to figure out like how am I going to get him to go to school? And yesterday I got to have this amazing conversation with one of the other moms. I only know a couple moms of kids that were young who got diagnosed with both LCH, the cancer, and diabetes insipidus, ABP deficiency, the immune disease, or the endocrinology disease. And it's so amazing. Like, we just talked for 90 minutes, and it was just like, I just got to feel normal in our conversations. Like, we talked about how you could hear your kid. Oh, cool. You could hear your kid peeing and be like, oh, he needs medicated, because it's like this like launch of a stream of like, you could just, you're downstairs. You're like, oh, yep. Sounds like he needs his medication. And people are like, what? And like just talking about like, what is it like? Because he can't be, the other things that affect his medication real quick, because I was explaining this, is like, he can't really be in heat. So when we go to Mexico and Quincy's in the pool, like the whole time, I'm like, here, I know that I've taken away devices. Here's a phone. Here's all the Netflix you want to watch. Here's an umbrella. Here's a little frog towel. Here's a fan, because he has to stay cool. If we're outside just on the trampolines, like, nope, I need to get to the shade. So he's very temperature resistant, or not resistant, and not the opposite of that. Same thing with colds. When he goes into breakthrough, he gets super cold. Okay, you can use those to make something. Do you want to take him downstairs to make something? Yeah, okay, you can. I will. I'm just going to finish telling him about your stuff. I'm almost done. Okay. Look at him. Yeah. He's such a cool dude. So that affects things. His stress level affects his medication. So as the doctor's just like, here, take this many pills and this many pills. It's not how it works. Like 2 nights ago, his medication wore off at 2 a.m. Then last night, he still isn't medicated. We're probably just starting that spot, and it's 8 a.m. So it's kind of like having to support medically somebody with diabetes mellitus, like if they were trying to give themselves insulin or take sugar without any sort of monitoring. That's what it's like. Like we don't know if his sodium is high. We don't know if his sodium is low. So you're just kind of trying to take a stab at it. How do you feel? How does your body feel? Should we medicate you? Is your sugar high right now? Do you have the shakes? And that just feels a little dangerous and challenging, but that's what it's like supporting somebody and taking care of somebody with diabetes insipidus, AVP deficiency. I need to keep saying that one so you guys learn that word, AVPD. And it's just the journey that we're on now. So looking at how do we medicate him? How is he going to get to go to school? How is he going to separate from me? How are we going to do sports? Like the parent that I was talking to, her kid's a little bit older and is in middle school. So it's like, you can't really do sports, or it's challenging to do sports because you have breakthrough during sports time. And even during Taekwondo, his one sport that he does now, it's a 40-minute practice and he'll maybe pee 1 to 2 times. Like that's pretty inhibiting during that. So then you try to think about right now how to stack our medications so that maybe during a certain time of the day, you're doing better. But here's our choices, you guys. Either we're going to try to stack right now so we can sleep. That's my priority. But then it's going to totally mess up his days. So it's like, do you want him to sleep at night or do you want him to go to school? Like, here's your option. Sleep at night, go to school. Like, so I'm going to choose sleep for the next 5 months and then see if we want to switch over to the stacking during the day so he's comfortable during school. But then do we just not sleep at night again because he still has to have these breakthroughs? I don't know. I have no freaking clue. And I'll just share with you amongst all of this that that's the Whitten John update. Like that's where he is. He's extremely healthy. He is a cool flippin' kid, man. He is so into science. Hey, Whitten, what are you going to be when you grow up?
Can I use these purple ones?
Yeah, you can use those purple ones. What are you going to do with it? Experiment?
I'm gonna do an experiment like that.
You are?
With these.
Okay. What are you going to be when you grow up?
I didn't want to be a doctor anymore.
What are you going to change to?
A scientist.
Ooh, cool. He just got a microscope from the thrift store. He's all about science. So like he's just this really rare, cool kid. It's just I don't know what we're going to be dealing with. I don't know if I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom forever, if we're going to be homeschooling, if I'm ever going to have that, that time like where your kids go to school and like, I know like all the motherhood's stressful, but like your kids are at school for like 6 or 7 hours and you have time to yourself where you get to go to an office and work. I don't know if I'm going to ever have any of that different piece, and that's okay. That's the journey that I'm on, but it's creating some different emotions and a little bit of like unknown or a little anxiety in my system, just trying to figure out what's going on, bud. Okay. You what? I'm going to come downstairs. I'm on my last part. Will you take that downstairs for me real quick so I can finish this part? So the last piece, you guys, and I just did you go downstairs, you little turd. I just did a podcast with Megs about it. So we'll share much more on that. Is that I am just in this wild emotional state right now with this fear of DYING. Not that I like it's like I'm the one who takes care of Whitten and nobody else actually knows how to do it fully. That's just the truth of it. Like people can attempt, but John's working all the time. And people could figure it out. They would learn, but like I'm his person. Whitten, babe, you can't do that because they can't hear me when you do that. So it's like, I'm really trying to work through some different emotions about how to just do life without that concern through faith, and then also support and educate people about the diseases, about how they work, educate my family more about what caretaking is for him, create more solid relationships between him and other family members and other friends so that he does feel comfortable leaving my side, and just to make myself more comfortable in doing life, And I think that's it. I didn't expect this to be this long, nor could I see any of your comments because I'm still on last the comments from the last one for some reason, my last live. But if you guys have questions, let me know on my different pages. Like I'm going to keep doing all my mom stuff and my mature-ish mom stuff. I also probably am going to be talking a little bit more about the diseases just to continue to advocate so that other moms, I know there's a mom out there right now where she's like, why is my kid peeing so much? And she just needs the support or the help that could lead her to a lot of different things and positive recovery for her child. And I would love to be a part of that. And I'm also going to possibly be joining, like I said, the histiocytosis cure foundation board or different pieces to try to support them. And at the same time, my favorite thing right now, right? We spend time together. We do all the things. And I love doing my current podcast. Doing Mature-ish Mamas with Megs has been such a huge therapy for me. When I'm watching the episodes, when I'm editing them, like I'm full of laughter and emotions. Also, we're processing through emotions as we're sharing. We're getting incredible feedback. Like we just got this beautiful message back from somebody yesterday who watched the chemo mom episode, and their lives are just being introduced to cancer right now, and trying to step into a space of gratitude. And then from other people, they're like, I'm watching and I'm laughing and then I'm crying and then I'm laughing. And it's a really cool way for me to basically emotionally process everything too. So thank you for all of you guys who are out there who've subscribed and rated the show, or even if you're only listening for like 90 seconds, literally that supports our bumpers, our numbers and bumping so that it's exposed to more people. So even if you like just play on 2 times, it's really funny. It's even more entertaining if your brain can work that fast. But I'm having so much fun. So thank you for all of you guys who have supported us through that. And just for all of you guys who have been advocates and fans of Mr. Whitten John here since the beginning. We're almost 3 years beyond his diagnosis. That's this summer is going to be his 3-year anniversary of that, which is really crazy. And you guys have showed up in so many different ways, from diagnosis to support from him getting through there, to prayers, to sending different things and songs and quotes and pajamas and like just resources for our family. And as we're on whatever side this is, like I always think it's gonna be the other side. It's not the other side. It's just the next chapter. We just hope to support other people in any way that we can as we're learning to traverse this whole new wild chapter of separation anxiety and learning how to medicate and advocating for a cure at some point, and then just making sure that he feels safe in different environments. So if y'all want to start to create a relationship with a little dude, you have some kids, you want to have some play dates, let me know. Shoot me a message. That's what we're doing these days, getting comfortable with other good humans. And I bet you guys are just good humans. Okay, do you want to say goodbye to everybody?
Bye.
Get over it. You have to talk into this. Tell them
Everybody.
Bye, everybody. Tell them anything. Can you tell them thank you?
Thank you.
So for all your love and support?
No.
Not right now. Not right now. Not going to do it. Okay, I love you guys. Thanks for listening. Bye. Boop, 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 boop. How do I press? It's been a while. Oh, play outro and intro. Just end.
Just end.
End. Yeah.
Thanks for joining, and don't forget to subscribe and, of course, share with your friends. Guys, that's how we impact more lives. All right, see you next time.